students. This is our first class in data entry operation, subject code 336 for NIOS students. The name of the chapter is Basics of Computer. Chapter 1, Basics of Computer. In this chapter, we study about so many things. This is an exciting subject that will help you develop practical computer skills useful for higher education, office work, and many careers. Nowadays, in every office, bank, hospital, school, railway station, airport, and business uses computers to store, process, and manage information. Data entry is one of the most important skills in today's digital world. By learning this subject, you will become familiar with computer fundamentals, MS Word, MS Excel, MS PowerPoint, Internet, data handling techniques. And these skills are useful for jobs such as data entry operator, office assistant, computer operator, and receptionist job, administrative assistant, customer support executive. Now, let us learn something about the learning objectives given stress or focus in this chapter. After studying this chapter, you will be able to define what a computer is. Definition of a computer. We all know that computer is an electronic device, and this special device was developed by Charles Babbage in the 10th century, and nowadays it is very useful electronic device which is capable of performing so many arithmetic and logical operations. It is a combination of hardware and software. Hardware means the touchable or material parts of the computer, and software means the operating system and application software, etc. Computer is a versatile device. The next topic to study is about the characteristics of computer. Let us learn what are the characteristics of a computer. Speed, accuracy, storage, reliability, security, multitasking, diligence, versatility. These are the main characteristics of a computer. Once again, speed, accuracy, diligence, versatility, security, storage, reliability, and multitasking. Now, you students have already a prior knowledge about the parts of the computer. Okay, monitor, CPU, keyboard, mouse, printer, speaker, microphone, etc. So here CPU, Central Processing Unit, is also known as the brain of the computer system. And there is a motherboard inside this CPU, and this motherboard is an internal part which is contained in the CPU. And memory or RAM, that is another part. SSD or HDD is another part. Then graphic card or power supply unit, SMBS, or keyboard, mouse, monitor, networking interface card, optical drive, CD drive. It is also called CD drive. Cooling system, printer, then speaker, etc. Sound card, etc. These are the different internal and external devices or peripheral devices or spare parts connected with the computer. All these parts are called the hardware part of the computer system. So, next topic what we have in front of us is about the differentiation between hardware and software. How can we differentiate the hardware part and software part. What are known as hardware part? Hardware part means a touchable part, machine part, or tangible part which can be seen and be touched. Monitor, mouse, printer, keyboard, etc. are hardware part or touchable part. And software part means those applications or softwares installed in the computer system, operating system, browser, or Word, MS Word, MS Excel, MS PowerPoint, etc. are software parts. Now let us understand the different types of computers. Analog computers and digital computers. Two major categories of computers. Analog computers are computers process analog data. It processes and represents data using continuous signals such as voltage, current, or physical dimensions. Analog computers were used during 1950s and 1960s. Analog data is not discrete, it is continuous. Pressure, temperature, voltage, speed, weight, etc. are examples of analog data. Analog computers are most widely used in aircraft, ships, submarines, and daily applications like a refrigerator, speedometer, etc. Nowadays, analog computers have replaced the digital computers. However, analog computers are still in use where continuous data processing or simulation of physical systems is required. Digital computers are the type of computers that use discrete data to perform computers. The most common type of computers used today is digital computers. And personal computers, smartphones, servers, supercomputers are some of the examples of digital computers. So, when we learn about the different types of computers, first of all, we categorize it into analog and digital. Analog and digital. There is yet another type of computer which is having both the properties of an analog computer and also the properties of a digital computer. Such a computer is known as hybrid computer. Then, digital computer is again classified into microcomputer, mini computer, mainframe computer, and supercomputer. Now, let us learn something about the input and output devices and storage devices of a computer. What is a computer? That is the first definition we have to learn. Okay, all of you have to learn this answer by heart. Okay, a computer is an electronic machine that accepts the data, processes data according to the given instructions and stores the data and produces meaningful information, and we can retrieve the stored data as and when required. We can retrieve the stored data. Data once stored can be retrieved or taken back when we want it again. So a computer is an electronic device or machine that can accept data and it can also process data. That is why a computer is called a data processor. Okay. Now we have a simple definition. Computer is an input device and is having an ability to process the inputs, give a meaningful output, and it is capable of, that device is capable of storing large volume of data for a long time. For the next topic we have to understand about is data. What is data? Data refers to raw facts and figures that have not yet been processed. Data means those facts and figures that have not yet been processed. Example, 45, Sukuma, Kerala, 5,000. These are only pieces of information, and we can't make any idea out of these pieces of information. These pieces of information are not helpful for our life activities. This is of no use in our life. Now, what is information? What is the difference between data and information? Information is a processed data that has a specific meaning and it is useful in our life. Data is a collection of some facts but are not capable of any benefit or any use. But in the case of information, it is a processed data and it has a specific meaning and it is useful in our life. Now let us take the example. if you look at this example, you will get the difference between data and information. English 70, Maths 80, Science 90. We don't get any idea out of this data. But when this data is specifically arranged and made as information, it will be like this. Marks in English 70, marks in mathematics 80, marks in science 90. Okay, now we understand what it is, what it means. And the total marks is 250, average marks, when 250 divided by 3, we will get 80 marks, average marks is 80, and the result is pass. Okay, now when this part, this information part is very clear and understandable, and we get a clear idea or clear picture when we read this information part. But from this data part, we don't get any idea. What does this mean? English 70, Maths 80, Science 90. It is not the case of information. Now, let us study about the functions of a computer. A computer performs 5 basic functions. First function is input. Input means it accepts the data. Accepting data means input. Inputting means we can give our inputs through typing the data through our keyboard, or by clicking our ideas through our mouse, or by scanning a document and putting that information, that scanned image, into the computer. So all those things, by scanning or by typing or by clicking a mouse, we can give input into the computer system. So examples of input devices are keyboard, mouse, and scan. Now we have processing. CPU processes the data according to instructions. CPU can process the data according to the instructions. Now we have output. Output means displays the result. These are the major functions of a computer: input, inputting, processing, outputting. What are the output devices? Monitor is a major output device, and after that we can say printer. Through monitor we can get a visual display, and from the printer we get a hard copy output just by taking a printout from the printer in a specific piece of paper or something, or some on some other surfaces. Now storage is the fourth function. Computer can store information for future use. Examples of storage devices are hard disk, SSD, solid state drive. Hard disk means HDD, that you all know. Hard disk means HDD. Okay, hard disk means HDD. Hard disk drive. And SSD is the latest form of a storage device, solid state device. SSD is more faster than HDD. Then pen drive. Then control. Controlling is the fifth function of a computer system. Now we are learning the functions of a computer: input, processing, output, storage, control. Okay, these are the 5 functions. What do you mean by control? Controlling means controlling all operations of the computer. This function is performed by the CPU. There is a specific unit called control unit inside the CPU, and this control unit controls all operations of the computer. And now the next topic what we have to learn is IPO cycle. IPO cycle means inputting, processing, outputting cycle. We give information. First of all, we give information, that is input, and the computer will process the information according to our instruction and will give out a result, that is output, and so that the computer can store that output or that meaningful information inside the computer system, in the memory or storage device. This process will continue. This is called IPO cycle, input process output cycle. Now let us look in detail about the characteristics of a computer. Speed. Speed means computers perform millions of calculations within seconds. Examples: calculating the salary for 10,000 employees working in a factory. Okay, that's very easily possible. Okay, with the help of a computer system. Next function is next characteristic is accuracy. A computer gives correct results if the input is correct. If the input is wrong, okay, it may also get wrong. Okay. Now the third function of a computer is diligence. Computers never become tired; they can work continuously. Fourth function is storage capacity. Fourth function is storage capacity. They can store huge amounts of data. Now fifth function is automation. Once instructions are given, computers work automatically. Now sixth function is versatility. So one computer can perform different tasks. Example: typing, drawing, banking, watching videos, taking online classes, etc. Seventh function is reliability. Computers provide consistent results. Seventh characteristic of a computer is reliability. We can rely upon their results. Computers provide almost consistent results or correct results. And the last and final thing is limitations of a computer. They cannot think on their own. They make decisions without instruction. They could not feel emotions. They could not show intelligence like human beings. So these are the problems or limitations faced by a computer. The last topic that we have to go through in this chapter is about the components of a computer system. A computer system has four major components: hardware, software, and user. Hardware, software, user, and data. Now let us look what a hardware is. Physical parts that can be touched are called hardware. Hardware means physical parts or tangible parts that can be touched. Okay, example: keyboard, mouse, monitor, CPU, printer, etc. are physical parts, some physical parts. And the next part is software, programs that tell the computer what to do. Example: Windows, MS Word, Excel, and Chrome. Now, can you say who is a user? The person operating the computer is called the user. Again, the person operating the computer is called the user. Now, finally, data. What do you mean by data? Information entered into the computer is data. Information entered into the computer is data. Lastly, hardware. Hardware means the physical components of a computer: monitor, CPU, keyboard, mouse, printer, etc. Software. Software is a collection of programs. Software is a collection of programs. There are two types of software. One is system software, the other one is application software. System software is meant for running the computer system. Example: Windows. Another example: Linux. Another example: Unix. Application software means these are softwares used for some specific applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Now, parts of a computer: monitor, it displays information. It is also called the VDU or visual display unit or output device. Keyboard, it is an input device. It is used for typing. Mouse, it is an input device. It is used for selecting and clicking. Now we have some examples of our output devices: monitor, printer, speaker, and projector. Storage devices are those devices helpful for storing information. Examples: hard disk, SSD, pen drive, memory card, CD or DVD. Now we have types of computers. Supercomputer, it is the fastest computer. They are used for weather forecasting, scientific research, space research, etc. Second category, mainframe computer. They are used by large organizations like banks and insurance companies. Mini computer. They are used by medium-sized organizations. Next, microcomputer. It is also known as personal computers or PCs. Examples: desktop computers, laptop computers, and tablets. Now, desktop computer. It is used when placing on a table. It is not portable or handy. And the other type of personal computer or PC is laptop. It is a portable computer. It can run on its battery. We can charge the laptop computer just with the help of a charger. Tablet, touch screen. It is also known as touch screen computer. Smartphone. It is a handheld computer with communication features and internet facilities. We have to study about some memory units in the case of a computer technology. 8 bits are altogether known as 1 byte. 8 bits. When 8 bits are added together, we will get 1 byte. Then 1024 bytes will make 1 kilobyte, and 1024 kilobyte will make 1 megabyte, and 1024 megabyte will make 1 gigabyte, and 1024 gigabyte will make 1 terabyte. And that's all about this lesson. My advice to you students is this, that you have to hear this video again and again, repeatedly.